Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 53. Last night, got home a little bit late. Took care of some of my work and hung out with the family for a while and got to bed by like 11:30 or so, but was kind of wound up and couldn't really sleep, so didn't really get to sleep till about 3 o'clock. Wasn't really like up watching TV or anything, just couldn't go to sleep. So that really never happens to me, but no big deal. Woke up this morning nice and early. Temperature is nice outside. It's already 45. It's going to reach 61 degrees today, so it should be a good day. And today it's going to be a more easygoing day. I know this week has not been great. I've been in a rush a lot of the time this week. Next week should be a lot better. But for one thing, we lost somebody at work that moved on to another company, and my team of 8 people is now down to 4 people, so we're all doing a lot more work. So last night I did a lot of work, and I even started some work that would run overnight, and I'll check on that here in a few hours when everybody is awake and at work anyway, so I'll check on it right before they get there. So today's goal is to play at least 4 sessions of slots, at least 1 session of blackjack, maybe 2. Going to be meeting with another advantage player, and just going to try to make a little bit more money. I think this week we've already made our goal, even though we had a lot shorter time frame than we normally do to gamble. So that's fortunate, and today we're going to try to build on it. So I'd love to make $1,000 or $1,200 today. We'll see if we can. I think it's very possible today with the places that we're going to. So I'm letting you go for now, and I will be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. All I can say is, are you serious? Are you serious? I went into that place and could not find a play anywhere. Could not find a shaky play anywhere. Nothing. I did see somebody that I knew, and he's like, "Oh, your friend so-and-so just left." And I'm like, no wonder. So he always takes all the good plays and even the okay plays. And this guy says, well, actually, he said that he couldn't find much tonight because there was 4 or 5 people in here taking all the plays. So I don't know, some new people or some people from out of town came in and they were cleaning everything out. So I found nothing. Now this guy told me that there was a play on a machine. I went over and looked at it, and it was still about $5,000 in coin in away from being a play, from being a shaky play. So it wasn't even shaky. It was like, no chance I'm going to play it. And he says, well, you're not going to get it at that number. I said, well, then why would I play it? If it's a negative EV play, then I'm just gambling. Why would I play it? So obviously I didn't play it. I didn't spin the reels one time on any machine, did not place one bet, did not put any money in any machine. So that happens sometimes. It's rare, but it does happen sometimes. Even though generally we play a lot of different machines, sometimes it's all gone. So that was, what are you going to do? Right now, I am going to move on to another casino. Unfortunately, I'm going to get there as a meeting starts. I wanted to spend a little bit more time in this casino because that way I could do the meeting in the car. But fortunately for me, this meeting is scheduled for an hour, but usually only lasts about 20 minutes or so. So I'll get all my work done on the drive from here to the next casino, and I will be ready for that meeting. Just going to move on, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. So I went into this place. I had 10 minutes. I went in, looked around, found a couple small plays, made about $95, ran back to the car, and did my 1-hour meeting, which lasted the full hour, unfortunately. And when I was done, I went back in and looked around and just found 1 or 2 other small plays, and basically ended up ahead $110 for this stop. So not terrible, kind of what I expected for this spot, but the point was to meet someone here, and I did that as well. So yeah, there's about 15 Asian ladies walking around in their checking machines. I don't know, never seen them all together before like that, but this may be the only place that they're allowed to still visit after being kicked out of all these other places. So anyway, I am moving on to the next place, and I'll be back to update you shortly. All right, guys, I am here, still continuing on to the next casino, and I noticed that all my scans from last night failed, and upon some investigation, I found that somebody decommissioned the scanner, which means it no longer exists, which means there is a whole lot of work to be done. So hopefully they just turned it off, pending, waiting for a certain amount of time before it's completely removed. If so, I can get it turned back on. But I've got like 8 major international scans that failed last night, so I will be working on those. So that'll keep me busy. But I am continuing on my trip to the next spot here, and hopefully we can have some good variance today. Alright guys, I am back. As I'm walking back to the car here, I had this meeting and I just moved it 15 minutes to be able to continue playing. I had a decent count going. I had big bets out there. I was down 5,800 after an hour and 45 minutes, going from 50 to 500. And I had a situation where the count got up so high that it was like the end of a shoe, and I'm like, I've got to push this more. I know I'm doing 50 to 500, but I got to push it more. I had 800 in front of me, and so I just used it as an excuse. I'm frustrated, whatever, and I pushed the 800 out there, and I got a double down hand. So I think I had a 9 against whatever it was. It was a good double. It was a 10 against a 9, I think it was. So it wasn't great, but it was okay. I doubled that, and I win the hand. So that's $800, $1,600, so $3,200 swing between winning and losing that hand. $3,200 is half of the money that I have involved in the game, so that's, blackjack comes down to those big hands lots of times, and you're slaving away for hours and hours, and then it comes down to a double down split, something that happened that totally screwed you or helped you get back. So after that, I was bopping around $3,000 for a long time, and started slowly moving my way up. And then I started getting people at the table, people coming in, people going out. I had the pit boss talking to me, and everything was happening all at the same time. But I kept my cool, and I did mix in a couple bets that were lower than needed to be on purpose because she was watching. So a couple small cards would come out, and I would lower the bet and then raise it on the next hand. So, but that all worked out, luckily, and by the time it was over, I was exactly even at the end of a shoe. Now I was playing with 3 people. It's crowded. It's Friday afternoon, and it's just going to get more and more busy. So I get exactly even, which is my $6,000 that I started with. And I go to color up. I ask for all $500 chips. They have to get permission. They give it to me. And actually, I had colored up part of it earlier on purpose, knowing that I had a lot of chips in front of me. And I colored part of it up. And I go to the cashier, cash out $2,500. I should have done more, but I have to run to the car. I have a meeting started in just a couple of minutes. I actually moved it 15 minutes to be able to make the meeting because the count was so good. I didn't want to leave the table for the meeting, and luckily that worked out, and I ended up exactly even. It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. Not what I expected to happen at all today. I did play double deck for a little while today, about 20 minutes, and I ended the session. It had like $75, and then I rolled that money into this money, so it's all one money. Ended up exactly even. I didn't have time to play any slots because obviously I ran to the blackjack table to start and ran to the car for the meeting here. I didn't want to get trapped on a machine now, especially after moving the meeting. And as I'm seeing now, it's popping up. My manager's in the meeting too, so me moving the meeting was not a smart idea. But what are you going to do? That last 10 minutes or so got me back, I don't know, 2,400, 2,600. So anyway, I may or may not play some more blackjack when I go in there. I still have tons of chips. I'm going to go cash out some chips at the poker room, and then I may go back to the blackjack table and start over again and see what happens. So right now I'm letting you go, and I'll be back soon. All right, guys, I am back. So just to give you some detail about what happened in there, when I went in there, I immediately went to the high-limit blackjack area, and there was only one table open other than a double deck, which is a mediocre double deck at best. I sat down at the double deck because the other table was full, and started playing there, and pretty much pushed most of the time. After about 20 minutes or so, I was ahead $75 on that one. And little did I know that would be my high for the day. I moved over to the other table when it became available, and they opened a third table as well. There was a guy on the third table who was in agony like you wouldn't believe, complaining, yelling, crying, everything, just losing a fortune. And what's amazing is when he walked away, the dealers had no mercy on him. They were laughing at him, like cackling, laughing at him when he left. It makes you wonder when you leave what they do when you lose money and you're in pain. So they really did not give a darn about this guy at all. Anyway, I sit down at this table and immediately start losing money. I'm down a couple thousand after the first couple shoes. I'm spreading 50 to 500, and just things. It was a slow drain. It wasn't even like one big shoe that killed me. It was a slow drain until finally I had that big double down at the end. I had a high count with $800 out there. Got a big double down. I was all in. Got into my pocket, got more money out, and doubled it down and ended up winning. So that's what saved me there. I finished up my meeting after I came out of there, and I cashed out 2,500 of my 6,000. So I went back in, I cashed out another 1,000 in the poker room. Then I had a friend cash out 1,500 at the cashier and 1,000 at the poker room, which got me all the chips cashed. So all that is good. Right now it's like 55 degrees, it's raining. I'm moving on to another casino. I've now played at 2 casinos and spent almost a whole day playing, and I'm ahead like $100 after all that. So not an ideal situation, but what are you going to do? So right now I'm going to let you go. I'm going to move on to the next place, and then I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, things are a little bit quiet here, so I can fill in some of the gaps here. So when I was playing blackjack, I moved over to this table because there was nobody there. I wanted to play alone. I prefer to play alone. I think I've got my system down. I've got my act down. I don't need a bunch of witnesses witnessing the things that I do and say and finding holes in them or anything like that. But, I like to control my own destiny, so to speak. I don't mind one person sometimes at the table, but generally like to be alone. So this guy comes over to the table. He's got red hair, red beard, and young guy. He buys in for 400 at that table, and he loses that very quickly, like the first quarter of a shoe, and then he sits out. And I play out the rest of the shoe, and then the dealer asks him, "Are you getting in this shoe?" And this was reminded me of yesterday with the one guy that said he's waiting for someone, but he wasn't. He was just watching me play. And she asked him if he was getting in the next shoe, and he said, "Oh, no, I already lost 700 out there." And he explained to her about how, he's had a real rough time with blackjack and gambling, and he actually took a year off. So in the state that I was in, you can actually ban yourself for 1 year, not permanently, but just for a short time, or 2 years, I think, 1 or 5, I don't know, or permanently. And this guy had banned himself for 1 year because he lost so much blackjack. Now, looking at this guy, he looks like he's about 28 to 32 years old. You know, he looks like he's got his life together. He looks like he's in good shape as far as, you know, clean cut and, you know, nice guy and everything like that. And this is the danger of these casinos and what they do. And they really, really do not care. They'll do anything they can to suck you in. And if they feel like maybe you're not losing enough or whatever, then all of a sudden they'll give you, you know, there's the regular formula for giving you comps. Don't get me wrong. Every casino has its regular formula. But if you've got a person who will go nuts and just dump a bunch of money, the hosts have the ability to give you money. They can give you free bets, free play, rooms, things like that, just to get you back in. And it's been documented how often casinos abuse people like this, knowing that they can't afford to play, but they bring them in with this big opportunity. Hey, we'll give you $500, $200, whatever it is, all the way down to the poorest of the people. They're giving them $10 to come in, and they'll come in. They just need an excuse to gamble. So I feel bad for this guy, but he ended up watching for a little while, and then another guy came to the table. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think only one other guy came to the table. No, 2 other guys. So one guy came to the table with like $625 in chips, and I've seen him a lot. I've seen him play big money before. He must have been on a real bad run because he lost that 6 something, and he took off. And then another guy came, and he was at the table until I finished up, along with the other guy. The first guy got back in, and just looking at the misery, you know, at my table, the misery at the table next to me with the guy yelling and screaming and crying and all that. And when I first got there and I sat down at the double deck table, the guy told me that he had been there since 9 p.m. the night before, and now it was about noon. So he'd been there playing for about 15 hours. Now, granted, you know, he's playing high limit, so he said he was down 5,000. 5,000 is really not bad for being there for 15 hours. You got to figure your EV for a ploppy, if you're playing well on that table with okay rules, his EV, the way he was playing, was probably minus 200, 250 an hour. So he lost more than he should have, but not much more. It was within reason. But it's just, you know, my frustration. But anyway, letting you go for now. I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. So went on to the next place and just looked around in there. Really couldn't find anything. I was getting ready to leave without playing a single game. Got something to drink, walked around a couple times, and just couldn't find anything at all. And this Asian lady walks up, and I find a machine. I sit down at it, and this Asian lady comes rushing up, and I'm thinking, there's no way I'm giving you this play, right? So she starts talking to me, and she convinces me to go in on it together. I actually, when I saw it from far away, I thought it was a good play. And then when I walked up on it, I thought it was okay. So I thought I would just give it to her. And she's like, no, we split it. And I said, I don't know. You just take it. I don't want it. And so we ended up splitting it. And I ended up losing $9. So not much going on there, but ended up losing $9 at that spot. And moving on to the next spot. Stopped at McDonald's, got something to eat, and moving on to the next spot now. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back to update you. Oh, Lord, that's all I can say. Oh, Lord. The craziness that is my life sometimes. Okay, let's see. Step back a minute here. Told you at the last place, I went in there, I looked around, pretty much found nothing. Asian lady wanted to split this game. We split it. We end up losing like $9 a piece. At that point, I go get something to eat at McDonald's. that's the other apps weren't working for some reason. I don't know if it's because I'm out in the middle of nowhere or not, but I was getting breakfast specials instead of lunch and dinner specials, so I couldn't get that to work. So I do that, and then I come to the next casino, and at this point I am so late already because the workday is already over. I spent so much time at the other casino, then I spent time in the car, on the meeting, and all these other things. I get into this place. At this point, I'm feeling like nothing good is going to happen. I'm up at that point like, what, $100 for the day, $105 for the day. So I walk in, a couple small plays, I'm losing, and then I'm even, and then I'm up like $30 or $40. And then there's this big play, right? It's $3 a spin, but it's a long-term play. It's going to take a while, and you're going to earn a lot of points playing this one. So I sit down, I start playing it. There's like $1.25 still in the machine. I put my voucher in over that, and I put, I think, $1,000 in on top of that. The guy next to me goes, "Good luck on that. I put 200 in there already, and I couldn't do anything." I'm thinking, 200? You have no clue, pal. This thing is going to take so much money before it hits. So anyway, I'm playing it, and it's going down and down and down. My balance is going from 1,100, 800, 600, 400, 200, 140, before I finally hit. When I hit, it's a couple different things happen together, and by the time everything gets paid out, I'm down, I would say like 340. So I'm not happy, right? It's a nice payout, but not what I expected it to be. Paid whatever, $600-700 or whatever. I've got a picture of it. And now I'm frustrated, walking around looking for other plays, and I'm nickel and diming here and there. You know, this one's a $20 EV, $30 EV, $10 EV. I'm playing all these small plays, and I get within like $129, right? So I've got like 1071 out of 1,200 that I started with, and I play this machine, and it just kills me for the amount of money. I mean, it was only like $1 something a spin, and it took a few hundred away from me. Then I'm still going back and forth. Finally, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this machine. I'd seen this machine in Indian casinos in the past. I know this place has it now. I'm not completely positive about how great it is, but you know, I know how to check it. I know when you're supposed to get in and what you're supposed to do and how long it's going to take and all that. So I go over to this machine, and this young kid is sitting there, and he's got his foot up on the other machine. I push the button on the other machine. He stares at me for a minute, and I look over, and he's got like $900 in his machine, and he's playing about almost, let's just call it $25 a spin, so I'm not giving anything away. $25 a spin, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, brother, you've got no clue how much money that thing is going to take. Now I'm thinking that's going to take 9,000, 9,500, 11,000, somewhere in there before you hit it. It can have enormous payouts. I've seen enormous payouts on it. I've even had enormous payouts on there, not 11,000 or whatever, but I've had 5,000 on it. So I'm watching them. I walk around, I come back around, take a lap and another lap, and he's still there. He starts to notice me after a while. He's a little, I don't know, skittish, I would say. He's talking to somebody on the phone, and I'm trying to figure out who this kid is, because I'm not used to seeing him in the area. Someone had told me that there were some young people in the area that they didn't recognize about 200 miles away from here. He seems to fit the profile of who they were talking about, so I'm wondering if that's who it is. So now I'm thinking maybe he's got money. Runs out of money 5 or 6 times, puts in 500, 500, 500, keeps going and going and going, and eventually he got to the point where it's gonna hit, It might still take 2,000 or 3,000 more, but it's going to hit. But I can't see him walking away from it. And what really sealed it for me is one of his friends came around and was talking to him, and you can tell they're working as a team, so they've got a budget. They know how much money it's probably going to take, and I'm probably out of luck. So after watching him for about 20 minutes or so, I decide to take a walk, and I'm frustrated, you know. But before I leave, I look down at my phone, and I get a message from my host. And my host says, "It was really nice to see you yesterday. I hope you had a good time. Have you ever been to Vegas? Question mark." There's an object on the road ahead. Anyway, "Have you ever been to Vegas? Question mark," she says. And now there's a speed trap ahead. Alright, so I email her, I text her back, and I say, "I had a good time, thanks for inviting me," whatever. And I said, "Yes, I've been to Vegas. Why? Did I win? Question mark." And then it was like, and it went on and on. It's like 10 minutes. I didn't get an answer from her. I'm frustrated about these kids. I'm down money. She's not answering me. So I decide to leave. I end up walking away down, but I am so late already, and I just can't spend any more time waiting. And it seems to me like they've got it under control. So I didn't think it made any sense. I ended up leaving minus $271. So where does that put us? That puts us, let's see, we made like 110, and we made 0, and we made 0, and we lost 9, and we lost 270. So after all that, and playing probably $100,000 plus worth of bets today, maybe more, I end up down $170. And if you had told me I was going to be down $170, I probably would have played one more shoe of blackjack or something like that. So anyway, yeah, that's about it for that place. I went out to my car, and I'm like, this lady has not replied to me, so I'm just going to call her. So I give her a call, and she says, "So-and-so casino, can you please hold?" And I'm like, okay. And she's got me on hold for like 10 minutes. Now I've already left the casino, left the parking lot, I'm on the highway, I'm driving. She finally calls me back. And she's like, "Hey Joe, how you been?" "Fine." I said, "You got me on the edge of my seat. Did I win or what?" She goes, "Have you ever been to Las Vegas?" I'm like, went through the whole deal with her again. And she says, "Because I want to let you know that you won, and you'll be going to Las Vegas. And we will be covering your airfare, your hotel, your transportation. We'll be covering transportation to other casinos if you need to go, airport, whatever you need. We're going to cover it. We're also going to cover your dinner the first night. And then we're going to give you a food, whatever, what do they call that there? I forget, man. I should know this stuff. But, you know, food credit. And you can use it for whatever you want. But I just want to warn you, if you go above the credit, then you have to pay it yourself. Like I'm some ploppy and I have no clue how this stuff works. So I have no idea when this is going to be. She doesn't know either. But I won the trip, and I won the 400 for qualifying. And if you win the big trip thing, then you win $1 million or a share of it or something. So I'm not too excited about it, because those slot tournaments are usually very top heavy, and their goal is to get bigger players out to the casinos, and then you're going to have like 300 top players from around the country competing for like 50 prizes, or 25 prizes or something like that. So but the good thing about it is I'll already be getting airfare out there, and then I'm also going to be getting reimbursed from Caesars, so it'll be another $1,200. So just the EV of going there is going to be at least $1,200, plus whatever I eat, plus, you know, hotels and all that kind of stuff. So it's a couple $1,000s really. So I guess that's one good thing that happened today. All right, let's see, where are we at here? It's dark outside. There are 2 more casinos that I can hit tonight, and I am heading toward one of them right now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to sit back and relax a little bit. I am almost out of gas, so I'll figure out how far it is to one of my favorite gas stations that I go to, and figure out what to do from there, and then I'll be back to update you. Do you guys remember the Arsenio Hall show? Does that show you how old I am? Do you remember he used to have a section, I believe, that was called Things That Make You Go, And let me tell you what happened here in just a second, but after I let you go, I continued on. I figured out that I could get to my favorite gas station with the best prices. It was about 35 miles away. I had about 35 miles to go as far as fuel, and I was just going to make it. So then I start watching, and I'm a mile short, and then 2 miles short, and then 3 miles short. And then there's a gas station 3 miles earlier, but it's like 50 cents, 55 cents more, no more than that, 65 cents more expensive. So I didn't want to do that, but I was going to be 3 miles short. I was going to run out of gas on the side of the highway. So what do? What do you do? Do you guys want to take bets about what I did? I went for it. So with 3 miles to go and 0 fuel range in a car that I've never run out of gas in, so I don't know how far it goes once it reaches 0, I decided to take a risk and drive 3 miles. Now, it's not just like an uncalculated risk here, right? So I figured I'm doing highway speeds, so even if I run out of gas, I'm probably going to be able to coast a mile or maybe just over a mile, right? And if I notice the car is starting to shake, I can punch the gas hard and get my speed up as much as I can so that I can coast the furthest, and worst case, maybe I have to walk half a mile or so. All right, anyway, when I got to 0, I reset all my stats, and I found that I was doing about 30 miles a gallon, and I made it just over 3 miles to the gas station. So I'm excited, I'm happy, everything is good, I'm getting gas. And about a minute later, I put my credit card in and did all that, and I'm pumping gas. And I'm just standing there. It's raining outside, and a highway patrol vehicle pulls up at the pump next to me. All right, and this highway patrolman gets out of the car, and he opens up the back door. I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's throwing away some trash or something. And in the back seat there is like a half-gallon fuel tank, right? Fuel, just the things that you fill up your mower with. So I look, and there's something moving back there, and there's a kid in their pajamas, probably like a 2-year-old, in like a one-piece, those footy pajamas that were so awesome when you were a kid. The kid was wearing that, and he's sitting in the back seat. Now, instantly, some things went through my mind, but not the right things. So, first thing I thought was, maybe somebody ran out of gas, and he was getting fuel for them. And then I thought, well, why would he have the person's kid in the car with him? And then the police officer's black and the kid is white, which doesn't mean anything, but it means something. Usually you're going to have some kind of a tan, right? You're not going to be some, blonde-haired kid. So it wasn't his kid, most likely. The parent wasn't there. And then I'm like, well, that's nice of him to do that. And then about 30 seconds later, it hit me. The kid is not in a baby seat. I'm talking like maybe been walking for 6 months, 1.5 to 2 years old kid in the back of a police car with a gas can in the middle of the night with no child seat. I've got no idea what the heck that guy was thinking or what was going on, but I half contemplated taking a picture of this, but I thought, why get anybody in trouble? Why mess with it? I'm sure he knows what he's doing. I've done my share of stupid things in the past that were a little bit risky, and it was well calculated and it was okay. I remember a few times I let my youngest drive the car in the neighborhood, and he was 5 years old. I let my 11-year-old drive the car, actually put their hand on the steering wheel and drive while I'm driving down the street at 50 miles an hour. So I'm no saint myself here, but I just thought that was really unusual. Anyway, I will be getting home in time to see my wife leave because the kids had an event at church tonight. They were off school today. It was the end of the third quarter of the year, I think. So they had a day off. They stayed home all day. It was raining all day. And then they had a church event tonight. And as soon as I get home, she'll be leaving for that church event. And she made egg roll in a bowl for us, which is basically mostly egg roll ingredients without the egg roll. So it's like cabbage and stuff like that in a bowl without the crust of the egg roll. But if you want, you can put some, Asian noodles in there or something like that. So that's what we're going to have. Unfortunately, we're going to have to go play Sunday night, which, I don't really enjoy much, but I have to do it. Monday is going to be completely jam-packed with meetings, beginning of the day till the end of the day. I should have a few hours in between. I doubt I'll be able to get to any kind of casino at that time. Tuesday will also be tough, although not as tough. I may get 1 or 2 sessions in on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be hot and heavy, and we're going to try to hit these casinos and make some more money. We did barely end up making our goal for the week, but I was very dissatisfied with the way the week went, and I hope next week we can have a goal of 6,000. And I see no reason why we can't get it if we just wake our butt up a little bit early and get out and get to these places before other people. I now have a list of places and what time most people get there, and hopefully I can start beating them by 15 or 20 minutes or half an hour and picking up an extra, $100 here and there of EV. So hope you guys all have a good weekend. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.